Hey everybody, welcome in. We are jamming out. It's Sunday night. I love going live on a Sunday night. I don't know why. It just seems like the thing to do. We're about ready to start the work week. The weekend is coming to a close, and it's just fun to hang out with friends. And you guys are absolutely my friends, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're watching the replay, you're like, I'm making this one. If you're watching the replay, I don't know what's up with the notifications. Like, I have no control over that. I don't send the notifications. I used to tell people just hit the bell notification and make sure you select all. And for those that want all the notifications, they're still not getting all the notifications. So I don't really know what's going on with that. But if you're here on the live, that's great. If you're watching the replay, that's good too. I'm doing more of these types of shows now where it's not a formless live, not just like a totally where there's nothing planned whatsoever, just doing the chat, which is fun. That's my favorite thing to do is the chat. But I'm trying to add some sort of staying power to these so they function as standalone videos as well. Because a lot of people don't tune into the lives, and those that do enjoy the interaction and stuff. But a lot of people, they just want they're the transactional people I always talk about. So they really just want the meat and potatoes, right? So I'm trying to offer some meat and potatoes in these shows. And now they will still be looser format. They will still be longer videos, but they'll have a little bit more form. And also I'm going to try and do the comments as well. So on today's live show, we are going to do talking about trends. I have some very up to date, like as of today, trending data regarding this whole community. And I always chuckle when any hobby is a community now. In the baseball card collecting community, in the Hardy Boys community, in the record player community. Well, I guess we're a community too. We're a community because we're family, we're friends. But the larger vinyl collecting community as a whole, the larger turntable community, there are trends forming, and I thought we'd talk about it. And this might, be something that's applicable well into this year, not just right now. Hey, Marcus, Glenn Miller Limited Edition Volume 2 on 45. Excellent. I have 2 copies of that, one of which is right here. Everybody's got Limited Edition Volume 1, but Volume 2 is harder to find. This was actually given to me. My first copy, where did I get the first copy? I think I bought it on eBay, but it was so ragged, I actually threw away this because it was nasty. I mean, there was so much water damage and mold and stuff. And I kept the records, of course. So I have that. It was sort of a naked copy. And then I received, I'm trying to think, do I have a third copy? I think this might be it. Yeah. I've got a small 7-inch padded copy of Volume 1. I've got like 7 different versions of Volume 1. But to have the padded spiral bound version here with the, by the way, this image has been used so many times on so many Glenn Miller releases. Glenn Miller Pure Gold, I think, uses this image. This is Glenn Miller on record. Anyway, it's got the booklet, several page booklet. And then this is the black. This is the classic Victor release. That's sort of gold padded one. So yeah, great choice. Also, there was a 12-inch of this one available as well. And my understanding is, because these are, oh really? Mine is in a box. Interesting. Gold box. That's cool. There's so many different versions of these. So everybody's got a different version, it seems. That's my version. But this, what I understand, is the 7-inch discs for Volume 1 and Volume 2 were truncated. So the ends are trimmed off. Sometimes they're edited down. But the 12-inch versions aren't, or are less. There's an orange label. Oh, I think I did see that. For the Volume 1, I've got, I've got the silver label, the black label, the pink label, and I think one more. Yeah. And I've got, those are 45s. And then I've got 2, do I have 2 padded? I might have gifted one of the padded envelopes. I see one of them over there. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's just good music. By the way, Marcus, did you pick up the new CD they released late last year, or was it early? Yeah, late last year. Glenn Miller limited edition. It's actually titled in the same vein as those, but it's all brand new, never newly. They're all transcription discs. In fact, I'm gonna find that. I have it up here somewhere. It's worth getting up for. I've decided I can get up and down from my chair during lives. Usually I'm like, oh, I can't reach it. I'm just going to get up and grab something. So you did get it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I won't go over it. But yeah, if you're a Glenn Miller fan, this indispensable. And I love the fact that they have the transcription disc labels as the CD covers. Wonder how many years, or I'm surprised how many years it took us to realize that a regular jewel case can indeed fit 2 discs. Totally fine. Unlike the old way of doing it. This is actually a CD I picked up on my recent trip. So I'm going to go over that because I haven't shown those yet. I did pick up a handful of CDs and the one cash record. Oh, really? Tell me about it, Rodney. That's really cool. Yeah, the second release, I'm looking forward to that as well. All right, so we're going to talk about the trends in the industry, and we're going to do a couple of other things as well. I got a little game just for the fun of it later, and I've got a haul. It's a very small haul. It's a handful of items, but I want to show you that. Also, any questions you guys have? Give you an update on the channel, what's coming up this week and in the near future. CES is starting this week. I'm not going to be there. I did have an invite to go. I decided I didn't want to travel right after traveling for the holidays. Okay, so I happen to have in my hot little hand a list. And that is a list of trends for this industry. And I thought we would talk through it because I think it's interesting. These are as of now. These are current. These aren't just like, in the last few years. This is now. This is very, very current. Like since the holiday. They are projecting. So first of all, the question comes up a lot: is vinyl? I use that term loosely. The resurgence. You always hear the word resurgence, but is the vinyl resurgence peaked? Is it trending down slowly now? Have we hit the ceiling, or is it still growing? There's been times when I haven't been sure myself. And so it's interesting to see the data. Apparently, we're still growing. In fact, we're growing significantly. They are predicting that once they tally everything, 2024, that the vinyl record industry will hit a 1 billion. That's a billion with a B in sales. That's phenomenal. From something that was by many considered dead, obsolete. And I know there was people, I never gave up my records. I know it. But at the same time, to see that it's not, that it's really becoming more of that. And yes, it's going to be a collector's. I think it's gaining a lot of ground. And I think that's going to translate term fans, long-term fans. Sorry for the snivels. Been fighting a little bit of a cold. I'm going to really try not to slobber here on camera. So yeah, $1 billion in sales. That's crazy, man. That's really, really crazy. And that's being driven not by us old folks, but by the younger demographic, specifically Gen Z. They're saying Gen Z is driving this. Now, Gen Z isn't going to have the novelty aspect that many of us do. I am just old enough to actually remember records as a primary audio format. Like when I was a kid in the 80s, we had records not because they were retro, but because that's how we had music. So I had my first music device. Well, that's a good question. It's neck and neck. Either it was a Fisher-Price record player or it was my little hand-me-down silver, either Sears brand, maybe a RCA brand boombox, very rudimentary with a single cassette, AM, FM radio, 2 speakers, little handle. It was all busted. I was a hand-me-down. Like we got a lot of hand-me-downs in my family, which is totally cool. but the buttons were missing, most of them. So I remember you had to stick your fingers to hit the eject button and the play button, and the little metal things that the buttons snapped onto was what you had to push, and they were sharp and they hurt your finger. But it worked. It physically worked. It was either that or the Fisher-Price. So yeah, we had that as, a primary listening format. But by the time my kids came along, they were growing up in a world where CDs were transitioning out. They transitioned out. We went from records. Tapes were probably the biggest thing in my formative years, because by the time I was in elementary school, records were, and I'm talking about in my existence, in my town, at my time. And I know that records never went away. I know there's some people that abandoned records sooner. Some people abandoned them later. I'm not even saying that what I went through was average. I'm just telling you what I went through. So, so the vinyl records faded into tapes. When most of my music was tapes, and tapes faded to CDs, and that was momentous. We've talked about that on the channel before. And then from there on, obviously as time marches on, I didn't grow up with 8 tracks because I was too young for that. And the people that grew up with 8 tracks probably didn't have a lot of just reel-to-reels in the house necessarily. Possibly. It depends. What I'm trying to say, ineffectively here, is that as formats change, as generations, time marches forward. So yeah, Gen Z doesn't have the nostalgic aspect, which is really interesting. They're still drawn to it. So you can't say that this vinyl resurgence is just nostalgia. I have nostalgia. You may have nostalgia for it. Formats, records, albums, the experience. I talk about specifics, records and machines and pieces of equipment and music that I have nostalgia for. But I also have nostalgia for something bigger than a certain format, and that is physical media. Buying something, owning something, sitting down, playing something, liner notes, that interaction piece that we always talk about. And I think that that's a really interesting thing, because Gen Z's not perhaps grown up with that. I'm sure there's some that have, whatever, but they're pulled into it for some reason. Why are they drawn into it? It makes you wonder. Alex, welcome in. Welcome in, everybody, by the way. If you wouldn't mind taking a second to tap the thumbs up button, it doesn't cost anything, and it does help the channel. I would appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. And let me get caught up on comments here before we continue the trends. Maybe we should do this regularly. Let's see if people like this. I think it's fun. And like I said, we'll get to the haul. We'll get to the game. What else was I going to do? Whatever else comes to mind. Yeah, and so after my Fisher-Price record player, old radios, I left it in the dust like a lot of people until 2015. That's when I got back into this. I went from CD to LP, then to both. Yeah. Marcus says I'm 23 and love LPs. There you go. I think my son is similar age, and I think he's finally starting to genuinely like it. He's been curious about it, but he's got no reason to have and he has no emotional connection to it, because he didn't even grow up with me playing records, because I had moved on to CD. To him, CDs are the older form, but he's getting interested in it as well. And I used to be the kid that was into the stuff that people were impressed that I knew about. I used to be like, oh, look at this. This is the new generation. We're handing it off to people that care, and isn't this wonderful? And then I blink, and I'm not young anymore. And but that's great. So I'll keep saying, hey, that's great, Marcus. We're glad that you're carrying it forward, and we really are. Maureen says, I got records, but most like to collect physical media, classical music, like complete symphonies. Yeah. No, that's a fair point. 18 years old is Maureen. Wow. 3-speed turntable. Hey, that's cool. That's really cool. Bill, welcome in. My son is now interested in vinyl. He's also 23. When he was growing up, he didn't care much about physical media. I think that he liked tactile nature and realized. Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, sound quality gets them sometimes, and the curiosity of physical media and this, to them, cumbersome giant device that makes music in a non-efficient way. It's so weird because I totally remember the excitement of going from one format to the next. I don't really remember tapes being exciting. They were just kind of what there was when it came to buying a new record or an album. At like 6 or 7, I was so proud. I found an old diary or some kind of class project that I worked on. My mom saved up all these school papers and things, and there was one entry that says, I have 6 tapes, and I was so proud of that. I had 6 tapes, you know. Couldn't even tell you what they were. I'm sure one was Michael Jackson. Actually, I can't tell you. I had Michael Jackson. I had the Cocktail soundtrack because everybody was freaking out over Kokomo, and you had to get the Cocktail soundtrack to get it. So New Kids on the Block, Michael Jackson, Cocktail soundtrack, Technotronics, Pump Up the Jam. I like that a lot. Yeah. Anyway, that's a few of them. So I'm guessing then, Bill, you're probably similar age to me. So you probably remember the transition from tapes to CDs and how incredible that was. Like, oh, it's pure digital sound. It's pure digital audio. It's premium. You can, skip tracks. You don't have to rewind anymore. There's no hiss. Man, that was an attractive feature. So attractive. I still think it's cool. I still think CDs are cool. I got a friend that's considerably younger than me, and just doesn't get the CD thing at all. You know, CDs to him are like 8 tracks were to me. Like, so that's funny. Gunmetal guy, welcome in. Vinyl was talked like VHS tapes. Yeah. No, and everybody's at one phase or another. Either you're in front of it or behind it. Or before it, during it, or after it. That's true, Bill. That's a good point about the digital services and things. Exactly. And that, you don't own streaming products. You have a license. But you own a record. You own a CD. You may not be licensed to broadcast it or make 1 million copies and sell those copies, but you have your copy. Yep, Brian. Again, I'm sure you're in the same group as me. Edward says, do you still like the Audio-Technica LP3? I do. I love it. Audio-Technica stopped doing sample units for YouTubers, which meant that I had to pay for every review unit that we get from them since then. I'm trying to think, at some point that cut over. And even on top of that, the review units of the LP3 became hard to get. I feel like I had something to do, and you guys had something to do with the revival of that. LP3 was sort of in the background. It wasn't a featured player of theirs at all, but we hyped that thing up like crazy, not just for the fun of it, but because it is a great unit. You get the fully automatic functionality, but you can replace the head shells, fully removable, the cartridge upgradable, anti-skate, tracking force, fully adjustable. It's still a great manual turntable. The only thing it's lacking is the strobe. If it had a stroboscopic platter like this Technics up here, something that allowed you to adjust the speed, it would be perfect. It would be absolutely perfect in every way. Aluminum platter, belt drive. It was gorgeous. I had the black one. I managed to blow out the preamp on my black one. It was my fault. I was doing something stupid with the way I was routing the signal. Then I got the white one, and I love the white one. It was really cool. And eventually what happened is I was moving it in or out of storage, and I dropped it on its side, and I cracked the dust cover. So that was a sad ending to that. And yeah, it probably still works fine, but I can't sit there with a cracked dust cover. My OCD goes nuts. I just can't. I had to either fix it, replace it, or get rid of it. But yeah, it's a great unit. And now they have the Bluetooth one. Bluetooth is it, and that's going to be on our trending list. Like it or not, Bluetooth is here to stay. It's one of the most popular aspects of vinyl records right now. And we'll get to that in a minute. Oh, yeah. I know what you mean, old radios, totally. Hey, Scott, welcome in. STP World says, I'm getting the Sony tray loading turntable, and I have the cocktail soundtrack Japanese import. Wow. Bill remembers the CD excitement too. Yeah, me too. Well, and I would say so. Old radios about Gen X, and I am Gen X, about being excited for CDs. By the way, I remember when Gen X was a cool, young, trendy group. Gen X. Gen X is here, boomers. Although we never said that. We baby boomers. Baby boomers. We never actually, the whole thing of naming and using generational, I don't know what you'd call that, but Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Y, baby boomers, boomers, boomer, hey boomer. Nobody talked about that, you know. When did that start? About 5-10 years ago? Before that, nobody, there was no generational thing. There was no, well, there's all, the young generation's always the rebellious generation. I sound so old talking about this stuff. But like, yeah, we never said, well, you know, us Gen Xers versus the baby boomer generation. Baby boomers never rolled off the tongue well anyway. That's why boomers probably became a thing. So that's kind of new. It's weird, but now we do this generational thing. Well, you know, it's totally a Gen X thing. It's totally a baby boomer thing. It's totally a Gen Z. It's totally a Gen Y, whatever. But I would all that to say this: there's probably Gen Xers that are more into vinyl, and you know. But yeah, CDs were huge for people in my age group. It was huge. You know, it was a big deal, and it was a premium. I remember the feeling of it being a premium item. I remember walking in. I closed my eyes because it's like I'm a very nostalgic person. I can remember the smells. I can remember the sounds. I remember going into Circuit City, which was a new store at the time. And, you know, what the store wants to sell the most, usually they keep up front, retail like that. And the hot item was the CD players, portable CD players specifically. And I remember there being a stand. I don't know what you call it, like a desk, a display stand, where it was like a try it before you buy it thing, listening station with all these CD players. There must have been 50 of them on display. Everybody had them. Sony, Panasonic, JVC. Then you had the ultra cheapo white Westinghouse. RCA was already a cheap brand at that point. But I just remember looking at them and being like, so luxurious, dude. And when I finally took one home, man, I felt like I brought home a Rolls Royce. It just felt so luxurious. I really enjoyed that. And then the bulk of people, my parents were light years from adopting CDs. This was like 94, 95. I got my first CD player in 91 into 92. It was a boombox, but portable CD player, 94 into 95. Got it right after Christmas. And parents were still on tapes for a few years after that. And DVDs, yeah, that was fun too. I remember I was an early adopter of DVD. I got my first DVD player, $399. It was a Zenith in 97. I didn't feel like I was an early adopter. I felt like I was late to the game, but looking back, 97 was pretty early for DVD. That's cool, STP. I have a new Audio-Technica cartridge too. A viewer gave me a couple weeks ago. And I need to use it. I need to do something. Where did I put that thing? Oh, here it is. He gave me a couple cartridges, including a vintage Grado. This is a AT331E by Audio-Technica, and he gave me a replacement stylus for it as well. I don't know what I think this is more like early 90s, but it's cool, and I can't wait to give it a listen. I think I'm going to put it on my Pioneer. I've decided I'm doing a show on the Pioneer. None of my other YouTube friends out there do this show before I do because I'm claiming it as my own. But everybody ignores the Pioneer, DJ PLX 500 and 1000. I know some people have it and like it, but you just don't hear about it as much. It's just as good, if not better, than the LP120. It should be talked about as much as that. But I've been running this, the good old AT95. It's a good cartridge. It's pretty neutral sounding. Gets the job done. I don't like it as the VM95, like on the LP70 and others. That's the best. The VM95 is my favorite, possibly my favorite Audio-Technica cartridge that I've heard of all time. Now, I'm an entry-level guy. This is an entry-level channel. I've never heard a wood, hand-carved Japanese wood cartridge, but this will get the job done. So I'm probably going to retrofit, or I don't know if it's a retrofit, but I'm probably going to put it on a head shell and play it on the Pioneer. Right now I've got 2 head shells on the Pioneer. One is this, and the other one's sitting in the little holder in the back. And it is holding a 3600. And that's not the new 3600 LE cartridge. That is, by the way, they are, and I'm saving this for the show, but again, you guys are insiders. You're on the live. You get the inside scoop. That's a whole new revamp to the AT3600 line. It's not just the elliptical. But anyway, that's a 3600 stereo cartridge with a wide groove 3mm stylus upgrade from Fan Steel. So that's for playing 78s. Now, obviously, when you play a 78, you want a mono cartridge. So this is technically not ideal. This generates 2 channels of audio. It works just fine. I'm not a purist, so it works just fine. It sounds good. It gets almost everything you can out of those grooves. That is because it was a lot cheaper to upgrade. I have it put away somewhere now. It's a lot cheaper to upgrade than the needle on or the stylus on my Ortophone 78 mono cartridge. I also like running this guy from time to time, the Black Pearl from Sumiko. I like this better than that MP110 that Fluence is putting on the RT85. It's a warmer card. If you like Grado cartridges, the warm Grado sound, pick up the Black Pearl. It's similar price, like $100. It's got the same similar body size or similar generator size as the AT3600s, AT91s, and stuff. But it's got a nice warm sound profile. I love it. That's a great cartridge. The only thing that gives me the heebie-jeebies about this is that it rides really low. Like, you'll look at that thing and be like, is that thing hitting the record? It's so low. It's such a, I don't know if the cantilever is super flexible, and the cantilever comes out kind of high. Here, use my forehead as a contrast. The cantilever comes out kind of high on that in comparison to others, but it rides super, super, super low. I've got this guy. This is an M22. I think I picked this up as a Gemini head shell. This thing needs a new stylus. I think this came on this is on my Gemini turntable. That makes sense. I haven't listened to this because it needs a new stylus. That's a vintage Gemini, or it was off of the Gemini. This is a M22. All right. I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole. Yeah, I get you all radios. Everyday life. Totally get it. Morin says ATLP 120 comments. Hey, Ralph, I'm glad you made it, my friend. Hey, Sean. How you doing, buddy? Hey, Blake. What is better between the LP140 and the Pioneer PLX? Okay, I can't say this with authority because I've never had my hands on the 140. What I know about the 140 is when they went to the X series Audio-Technica, the LP120X is a little bit stripped down from what the LP120 non-X was. They basically, they got rid of the VTA adjustment, they got rid of the cueing light, and they got rid of the metal 45 adapter and put a plastic one on. I think those are the main differences. However, they improved some things like a fully isolated preamp circuit, so you no longer have to remove your preamp if you want to bypass it. It used to filter through it. I thought that was like an old wives' tale until I was at CES once and I asked the rep, I asked the Audio-Technica, I'm like, do you guys really, when the preamp is in the off position, does the audio still go through there, or is that BS? He says, no, it really does. We re-engineered it. So the X series fixed the preamp. But those upgrades like the VTA adjustment, metal 45 adapter, and cueing light got bumped up to a new product they introduced called the 140. So the 140 was sort of like a 120 plus. Created a new product. That gave them some margin headroom so they could stay low on that price and compete with others. But it's all hand-pin turntable. I've said this so many times, and some of the companies don't like it when I say it, but I'm going to keep saying it. Pioneer, Audio-Technica, Gemini. There's a lot of brands, a lot of turntable brands. The Crosley C100, C200, all made by handpin. That's actually good news though, because if you remember the Crosley DJ, that was also a handpin turntable. And it's not, you can just go to Handpin Turntables. It's a Malaysian company. And you can see stuff. You're like, oh, that's this and that's that. A lot of them are OEM though. So they're not going to show up on Handpin's website. Some of them are almost off the shelf from what you can buy in bulk from Handpin directly. To answer your question, I'm going to say Pioneer PLX because it is the one I have. And I don't have the 140. I think those two are very, very similar. But because of the aforementioned reasons, the PLX edges out the 120X a little bit. I apologize for the coughs. I've been fighting this cold. I really hope and pray I'm on the downturn of it. All right, just set some records sailing across the room. Do I like Weezer? Not at all. Can't stand them. I just got this right before Christmas. This is the Target exclusive. I was looking forward to this. I know they came out with a big box set recently. That's a bit much for me, but the single disc reissued on this blue and white marble, perfect. Great album. And I know they've come out with so many, and I like the color naming, the teal album, the black album, the white album, all started from what we called the blue album. It wasn't originally called that. And the new albums are cool. They're still making music, but I'm okay to not have a copy of their stuff. I do like I think it's a teal album. They did like a bunch of covers on. That was pretty cool. But I have this natural tendency, if I start collecting somebody, I want to get it all. And I'm trying to avoid doing that. But and I have been having this resurgence of interest in the music I was too nerdy to listen to at the time. I was listening to Glenn Miller when everybody else was listening to Weezer and Offspring and stuff. And now I've got this like retroactive nostalgia for it. But I haven't bought any of it except for the Weezer album. I also got the Blue album on CD. Old radios, just like AM transmitter turntables in the 30s. Yes. Stand by for more on transmitting. We got some surprises coming up. This is just water. I probably should be drinking tea. You kept your tapes. That's cool. And now in hindsight, I wish I kept everything. Rodney says 8 tracks, records, 45. Yeah, real to real. Turntable feet replacement. That's an interesting idea. We did a show about isolation feet, 1 or 2 shows about it. That topic has never really interested me that much. I know some people have problems with record skipping from people stomping across the floor. Sound isolation is a topic. We reviewed this isolation base, is the Fluence, I think, what do they call it? IB40? Isolation base. It's basically a plinth with nothing on it. And I have it underneath the Technics right now because the SLB5 is a featherweight. It's a hollow shell. It's very lightweight. Golly, apologize the sniffles. Wow, you had a CD player in '86, Ralph. You were an fairly early adopter there. That would be a 16-bit player. That's really, really cool. Yeah, by the time I got into CDs, it was like 91, 92, and I felt like I was late to the game. You know, public school, you know, everybody seems to have it before you, but that's good stuff. I wish I still had a 16-bit machine. I like the sound of them. Thank you. Gatorade to the rescue. Support staff here is on point. Okay. The listening stations at stores like Tower Records are incredible. Yeah, do you remember when Barnes and Noble had a listening station? I remember right after I got married, I went. I just remember it was that time frame. I went to Barnes and Noble, and they had those listening stations right about that time, right about the turn of the century, kids. And there was a Lionel Hampton live at Carnegie Hall CD. It sounded so good. It worked because I did eventually buy it because of that. Our service is state of the art. That's funny. Oh, really? Vinyl Rage? That's cool. Oh, yeah. It's exactly, Bill. They made the listening stations possible. Do you also remember when you would go to like Kmart in certain places and they would have those nature sounds and like Indian flutes and stuff, and you would push the button and then it would play out of these little speakers. I remember those were fun. As a kid, you had to go push the button. That was cool. I know, Scott. I'm surprised too because everybody loves the Sures and they've got a heck of an aftermarket that everybody. I don't know if Sures still make it any of their aftermarket styli or not, but somebody's providing them. People love their Sures. I had a Shure, only one Shure cartridge, and it was on my not a BSR changer, which I no longer have. It was an M44. Does that sound right? It was okay. I mean, it sounded like an effective but not exceptional sounding cartridge. Has anybody heard of Tech Play Ghost Turntable? I've heard of Tech Play. Isn't that like a store brand of somebody? Let's see. Tech Play Ghost Turntable. I like looking this stuff up in real time. You guys tell me. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no. I was thinking something else. That's a YouTube. I'm going to watch a YouTube video while I'm making a YouTube video. That's weird. Let's go back. It's giving me Leetac vibes. Leetac is the company that made the they made the Heyday turntable for Target. And another one we reviewed recently. Interesting. I'm looking at it now. I have not. This kind of is giving me. Do you remember when Victrola did the acrylic turntable with acrylic speakers? The shape of the plinth is kind of giving me those vibes. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a beginner. Looks like but I don't see anything wrong with it. Might be fine. Standby USB, built-in preamp. How much is this thing? $189. Interesting. No, that's an interesting one. Thanks for the tip. I guess it also comes in white and gold. Interesting. The hardware is gold, whether you get black plinth or white plinth. Haven't seen that. Thanks for the tip. I picked up, and speaking, you know what? This will be a good transition. When I get caught up on comments, we'll take a break from the trending data, and we'll look at, I want to show you the CD haul that I got on the recent trip. Because one of them is a first issue CD from the 80s. Very interesting one, something that I was very excited to find. What is your pickup? Multifunction mic for recording any turntable, even with what is your pickup? Multifunction mic for recording any turntable. Are you asking me if what I use to record the direct feeds? I'll tell you if that's the case. I'll tell you either way. But clarify that for me, Warren. Let me know what you're looking for. What's a good stylus upgrade for the LP3? I mean, you can put anything on there, Edward, because it's got adjustable tracking force and anti-skate. You could even run The LP3 is special because you can run a moving coil cartridge. It's got a moving coil preamp built in. At least it used to. I mean, it's all your taste. If you like them, okay, we have a, sorry, the connection's a little iffy. If it's breaking up, I apologize. I think I have a fiber connection. I don't know what's going on here. I haven't pinged up and down lately. I probably should. So I apologize if it's breaking up. The sun is setting though, so it's getting darker. So the light, it can impact things like that too. It depends on what you're looking for. If you like a more clinical, cold sounding, accurate sounding, you might like an Ortophone Red. It's like a $100 cartridge. Fun fact, the red is the exact same cartridge as the Ortophone Blue. It's just a bonded stylus versus a nude. The nude one on the blue. If you like a warm sound, go Grado, or better yet, because of the, well, like a Grado Black's about 100, or the Sumiko Black Pearl, also about 100. Very warm, affordable cartridges. If you don't have quite that much money, the VM95E, VM95C, anything in the VM95 line, that's like a $50 cartridge if you get the conical. That is great, and it's highly upgradable because all this interchangeable styli. So that would probably be my recommendation. Go, and that's a neutral sounding one. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a link to it. I just love this cartridge. Bear with me. Yeah, $49. Come on, where's the thing to share? That's slowing down things. Sorry. Anyway, go look up VM95C. I don't know why. Oh, wait, there it was. No, that's not it. VM95C. Lenco B52, need a bass. Is it like lightweight and that's why? I think Lenco also uses handpin. Hey, Music Junkie, welcome in, my friend. We need Coca-Cola. I know, I love Coca-Cola. I'm not allowed to have carbonation after my surgery. One of many last year. I had to have some very serious abdominal surgery. I'm no longer allowed to have any carbonation, which I haven't had any carbonated beverage. I mean, I take a sip of a Coke or something here and there to get the taste of it, but yeah. Even if I take an Airborne, which I've been taking a couple of those lately because of the cold, I have to wait for it to go flat before I can drink it. Ugh, sorry to hear it, Scott. Yeah, a lot of people have norovirus. I really hope I don't get that, and I hope none of you do either. Oh, really? You have a problem with the PLX control? You can calibrate that. There's still trim pots underneath, I believe. Any records you care to show us? What was the last record? I bought a record today. It's not here. I literally just ordered it, so it's not here yet, but I did buy a record. I got a good deal on it. It's a 78. It'll be coming soon, I hope, and I'll be sharing that. The last record before that was the Johnny Cash. I think I already filed. Cash has already been put away, so I don't have it at my fingertips. I still have stacks of records. Scott, I still have all the Glenn Miller stuff down here. I've been listening to it. It's like while I'm working, I'll put one on, and as such, it hasn't been filed yet. My dad got a JVC 6-disc changer in '89. Wow, that's cool. I never had the changer either. And my Sony 5-disc now, it's like a luxury item that I never had. Scott's first CD player was an 82. Wow. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, JVC did make good stuff. My first good stereo system I bought with my own money was a JVC shelf system. And it was a Lakeside Mall, which has been torn down for years, decades now, in Colorado. And it was Montgomery Ward's or something going out of business. I remember that Montgomery Ward's is really cool because the way they handled fulfillment, they actually had a underground fulfillment center where you would order something in the store, and if it was a big item like a washer, a dryer, my parents got bicycles. This is back in the 80s. I remember we would have to go out to our car and drive down into this tunnel that went underground, underneath the Montgomery Wards, and to a loading dock underground. I thought that was so cool. There was this little office, and my dad would go in and sign something, and they would load it up on the dock. Man, those are memories. Good memories. But anyway, I think it was a store like that, and it was right before the mall really went into abandoned mall phase, prior to its being torn down. And I got a store, or it was a floor model JVC, and JVC had their tray loading CD changer, so it was 3 trays that would shuffle instead of the rotating one. First stereo, it sounded good too. It was like 60 watts total, and it was bassy. It was a delicious sounding system. And then I upgraded to an Iowa, which my son still has. But yeah, JVC was good stuff. I remember it didn't have the remote, so I had to go online. Early day. Well, how did I do that? Because I got that before internet. How did I do that? I guess it might have been in the very early days of the internet. And I ordered a remote control. Or maybe I called somebody and ordered a remote control. Hey, Larry. Happy New Year's to you as well. Yeah. The Nakai single disc. Nice, dude. Yeah, those listening stations did what they were supposed to. Sharp. Like Sharp stuff. Love my Sharp little, it's in the studio, my Sharp little Walkman. Did you guys know that Sharp made the Game Boy for Nintendo? BSR CD cassette boombox. Oh, that's cool. A touch CD, one touch CD to tape on. That's really cool. Parade by Prince and the Revolution. What CD players can play DVD audio? I don't know. There's probably some more contemporary, late 90s ones maybe, or early 2000s CD, but I don't think I have. Well, I might have reviewed one boombox, one of those little teeny boom boxes. I mean, it's not an accurate term for what that is. I think it could play DVD audio, or maybe just DVDs, or audio off of DVDs. I seem to remember we reviewed something that could do that. Half Cat meme, welcome in. Dark Side of the Moon and Thriller. Thriller's a classic too, yeah. And if you got Dark Side of the Moon, just sync it up with Wizard of Oz, and there you go. Oh, there's a clear one of those? Interesting. If you like clear turntables, we had a whole Odyssey, the whole thing with this clear, I think it was made by One acrylic turntable a couple months ago. Oh, thank you. This is a Roosevelt shirt, RSBLTS. They make these really loud licensed print, all kinds of, there's like a Back to the Future one. There's a lot of Disney ones, Marvel. They're expensive, so I don't have many, but I got one or two. They're like $70, but they're pretty. They're really vibrant. VM. Oh, so you got the micro line of the VM. That's nice. I still haven't heard a microlinear, a Shibata. I haven't heard of. I've only listened to conical and elliptical. That's all I've ever heard. That's all I've ever heard. Happy New Year to you too, Bill. Yeah, I heard about the cold snap coming. I saw a reel on Instagram saying that we might even get snow in Florida. I don't know if it's true or not. I looked it up once. Last time it snowed in Orlando was like 79, 77, something like that. And the last time it snowed in Miami was like in the 30s. Oh boy, I hope that's not what it is. Well, I don't feel too bad. So, yeah. Hey Michelle, welcome in. Which one did you get for your new record player? Oh, vinyl 78s. Yeah, I've got a few of those. Gold Circle. Montgomery Ward, Electric Avenue. Oh, you've told me about that before, music. That's cool. I need to check that out. Yeah, that's true. That's a topic we bring up a lot, is the fact that you know, there's records that never made it to CDs, and there's CDs that never made it to digital or to streaming. All right, got caught up. Snowed in 89. Interesting. Okay, so I did pick up some CDs. I didn't want to carry back records. I did get the Cash record as a gift, and I was grateful for it because it's really, really cool. And I was like, how do I send this back? Do I go buy a mailer and mail it back? That'd be the safest way. I decided to put it in my backpack, sort of sandwiched in there, and then not to strap the backpack on, but to carry it loosely. It did pretty good. The corners got a little dinged up, but the record's okay. It's got a slight bump picked up because we went to Texas and then we went to Colorado for the holidays. Made it back here before New Year's. AMC catalog department stores. Service merchandise, I remember. Oh, I love service merchandise. You go into the conveyor belt and all that stuff. Oh, I'm sure you get a lot of snow there, man. Lechme. I've heard of them. Interesting. I got a couple of the Red Seal, or one or two of those Red Seal CDs. I've got Red Seal records, like the best of the best RCA. Yes, Mick, they are. That's what's crazy. I looked it up. I wanted to know what was trending in early January 2025. And sure enough, things were trending. And we've gone over the market is going to hit $1 billion for vinyl records this year, for last year. We've talked about the drivers on that being largely Gen Z people that have no initial and original connection to that form of physical media, for the most part, are going for it for some other reason. Why are they pulled towards an inconvenient, expensive, and arguably better sounding format? What is pulling them in? We've been discussing that, and we've got a lot more to talk about there. I want to take a brief aside. You're like, yeah, right, Record-ology. Nothing with you is brief. I want to take a lengthy aside here to talk about my CD haul from Denver and from Texas. Oh, dude, Scott, I love those things. I still can't believe the condition. They look brand new. Okay. So, old CDs. Talking about old CDs. Check this out. That, my friends, is a first issue, I think 1987, Star Wars soundtrack on CD. I think I did pay $12.95. I'm not saying it's rare. I'm not saying it's valuable, but I don't shop for that. But the original 1987, this doesn't say 1987 edition. Okay, we got a connection issue again. I'm sorry. Interesting, Mick. So if we open this up, it is a dual disc, and yeah, I've been listening to the discs. So I should probably show you the disc. The reason why I want to do this, whoever mentioned the early 80s CDs earlier got me thinking about this. Okay, come on. It's on I got them on shuffle. Polydor Records. Fox, not a Fox release. These are Polydor. But check it out. Do you remember vintage CDs like this where the silver, the aluminum coating went all the way to the hub? More contemporary CDs, the hub was always clear, but not on old CDs. Also, notice the very prominently featured compact disc digital audio logo. 1977 Polydor Records. If I've been saying polygram, I mean if I've been saying polygram, I mean Polydor. Yeah. What am I saying? Polydor or is it polygram? That says Polydor. Okay, Polydor Records. Check that out. But yeah, you will not see that logo, that compact disc digital audio logo, on new CDs, because that is a I don't know if Sony owns that, but they're not licensing it out, so they created a new CD logo. But yeah, this is the first CD I got, $12.95. I didn't have the CD for episode 4 here. This is matte finish, not glossy. It's got a very cool feel to it, some pictures, and then a whole page about the compact disc format. This would have been such a premium item. That's a sick Vader picture, by the way. Such a luxury item back in the day. Next one I picked up, this one for $5, and the shop was Music Town. I did a short there. This is so cool. I'm a Trek and Star Wars fan, and I didn't know what this was. I just knew I needed it. I didn't know it was a book on. I was like, it can't be a book on CD because, you can only fit, music content. Turns out this is a fully dramatized production that John Delancey and Nimoy did. They were dramas. They were, full music, sound effects, purposely done for. This isn't from a TV show. This is this Alien Voices series. I don't know how successful they were. Beautiful screen printed disc. And you can see there, to my point earlier, that the aluminum doesn't go all the way to the hub. And this was $5. So I'll do this all day. I love old time radio. I love spoken word content. So picked it up. And it was performed live in front of a studio audience. I'm very intrigued. Very, very intrigued. CDs were like the future. They still kind of are. Okay, then, I also got this. And the last two are Denver. Yeah, okay. So this is the third one I picked up in Houston. Yep, it's another issue of this. I did that show, and I'm like, I don't know what is left. And you guys said there's still more out there. If you remember, the CD that I had was the White Christmas, the newer version. And I said, I'm pretty sure they issued the Merry Christmas version where it says Merry Christmas is the White Christmas, which is the version that the originals were on CD. And sure enough, I stumbled upon it. Typical late 80s MCA issue, AAD, meaning it was recorded analog, edited analog, and mastered digitally. So yeah, I had to pick this up. Compact disc, compact price. That was an MCA trademark. I love the MCA label on the disc there. Just like the Back to the Future soundtrack, looks the same. So I picked this up for $5. So this is the first new copy. I can't believe I have yet another copy, but I picked that up. All right, so that was in Houston. And then in Denver, I went to 2nd and Charles. I did a brief video there. I somehow deleted or didn't record one of the clips for that. So it's a very awkward and short that I made. Oh, I'll have to check that out, Larry. My wife has the book. I'll have to check that out. Okay, the next thing I picked up was Bing Crosby, because I've been on this Bing Crosby kick. To me, this looked like a Golden Legends, Prime Cuts. This is, so far, it's songs from the 30s. So I wasn't sure. I still got a lot to learn on this. This is an early CD as well. This is, let's see, 90. Well, not too early, 94. So never mind. It's not really a new early CD. But I picked that up. And it's funny, as I remember when I was out there in Denver in October at 2nd and Charles, I saw this. And I put it in my hand. I walked around for about 10 feet, and I put it back. I had second thoughts. And then the second time I was there, I was like, it's still there. Okay, $5, I'll go for it. Kind of an unremarkable disc itself. definitely a budget thing. I don't think there's any booklet. It's just a piece of paper. I have to listen to more of it, but yeah, there you go. And then I picked this up. You ever do this thing where you pick up a CD or a record because you're not sure if you have it? And now I know everybody's going to be like, and this is why, Record-ology, this is why you use Discogs, so you can find out what you have and what you don't have. I don't want to do Discogs. I know that, what's his name? Channel 33's got a sponsorship right now with Discogs. And he's doing this, supposedly cataloging his whole collection. And that's good for him. A lot of people love doing the cataloging thing. Zero interest. Zero, like a spreadsheet. I don't want to list them out. I don't have any desire to catalog my collection. I don't want to write it down. I want to just have it and listen to it. It's just the way I like to do it. Am I weird like that? Does anybody else just have records without cataloging them or inventorying them? But when that bites you in the butt is when you're in the record store, like, do I have this? Do I actually have this? And I've done that before. I'm like, I think I have this. Gone home. Nope, didn't have it. I haven't verified if I have this already or not. This is volume 3 from the 3-disc laser light set. It's obviously a budget release, but for the sake of completism, I wanted to get all. I knew I had 2 of the 3, and I think this is the one that I didn't have. So I picked this up. What did I pay for this? $2.45. One thing I like about Second and Charles barcodes or the labels is they show you the date that they acquired it. I think that's pretty interesting. So they acquired this June 14th of 2024. So this would have been on the shelf when I was there in October, and I missed it somehow. But I think that's because it wasn't in the country section under C. It was in a budget rack of ultra cheap CDs, less than $3. And this one's also on the changer, so I can't show you the disc. But the first song, "Write Me and Carry the Blues," is weird. It's like super echoey. It sounds haunted. It sounds like a haunted version of it. And I've made it through about half of the rest of it. They all sound like decent recording. Laser Light Digital, a budget label, except for their gold and platinum records they got with Glenn Miller. Separate story. I've told it a million times. Anyway, that's all I picked up. That and Cash. Those are the only albums I picked up over the holidays. Until I bought this record today that will be here hopefully in a week or two. Something I've been wanting to get into is identifying original CD presses. Interesting. I know of the Cross logo. I don't even know about that. That's really interesting. Oh, I'd love to come to New York City. Would love it. I'd love to come to West Germany. I'd love to come to Germany. East or West? Obviously, Germany now. And that's fair. I mean, he's entitled to do whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like, it sounds like a lot of boring work. Oh yeah, Middle Earth. Can you imagine if I tried to organize my digital audio? I'm lucky that they're in files with the album name. And I have, I was a very undisciplined ripper of CDs because I wouldn't even make sure it was hooked up to Grace Note so that you got the track information. So I've got a lot of digital music that's unknown album, unknown artist, unknown song title. And that's bad on me. I finally figured out, I'm like, whoa. You're never going to be able to know what you have. Stop doing this, Rodney says, write them down. And that's how you avoid situations like this. I could whip out my Discog. Do they have an app? I think they have an app. This is starting to sound like I'm sponsored by Discogs. Definitely not. But yeah, even if you had a notes list on your phone or something, you could do it. But I don't want to do the work. I'm not willing to do the work. Oh, really? Mick says they're constantly changing it. Well, that's cool, Middle Earth. Oldest purchase to present. And that's true, too. If it's $1, you're like, eh. And if you get a duplicate, you pass it on. Luckily, I've got friends that like the same kind of music as me, so you know, I've passed on some duplicates here and there. Yeah, my records are and CDs are all organized by genre, and that's it. They're not alphabetized. They're not. It would probably be my Glenn Miller stuff, my orchestral stuff, my big band, Patsy Cline. Certain soundtracks are pretty big, miscellaneous. But even the big sections, it will take me 37 seconds to flip through all of them, right? So I'm not like Michael Framer with shelving aisles and aisles of a library of records. I no longer bulk up on this stuff, although this was kind of bulking up because I have these songs represented other places. I don't need them. Same thing with Bing. That's a little bit of bulking up. For the most part, though, I try not to bulk up. In fact, I was thinking today about thinning out the collection a bit, some things I haven't listened to in a while. How are your CDs stored? Shelves, cassettes? So, Larry, my CDs are on a shelf, and they're stored in vertical stacks. Each stack is about that tall. It's not ideal. I wish I had a CD rack where I could put them all, you know, like this, but I don't have that much surface area. And if I do, I have enough room to do like 2 rows per shelf, front and back. But the problem is if I take a disc off of the top disc will fall down into the gap, and that makes a big mess. And then all of a sudden, the sections are disorganized. Cassettes, I don't have enough cassettes that I have them even organized by genre. Honestly, I have sort of the ones. I have 3 sections of cassettes. I have the ones that I listen to most frequently. There's probably 20 or 20 to 40 tapes that are on a shelf that I can access readily. Again, it takes me 10 seconds to scan left to right to find the one I want. Then I've got on the secondary shelf in the back about another 30 tapes that I listen to less frequently. And then I've got a drawer with tapes I never listen to and blanks for when I need a blank. So maybe that sounds messy. Maybe I need to improve that. I would love to get like CD racks and tape racks, and I'm always trying to adjust my organizational situation. Yeah, no, it happens. It definitely happens. Okay, back to trends in the industry as of early January 2025. You guys may not like this. You may love it. Either way is fine by me. But modern artists like Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Billie Eilish, and others are contributing, investing, their record company, let's just say, are investing into releases. Taylor Swift did a brilliant thing, or her people did a brilliant thing. I think it was last year or the year before. Released an album with different color editions. Same album, different color. I'm not talking about the red album, the red, her, Taylor's versions, whatever. I don't have any Taylor Swift music. I'm talking about from a marketing perspective. They had this album, a green version, a blue one, a yellow one, whatever. And so it added the collectability aspect that you can't get with digital. You can't have the red edition streaming. I guess the cover art can be red. But the idea is it gave people a reason to buy multiple copies of the same album. That's freaking genius. And you gotta give credit where credit is due. Your team knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They have a commodity. They have a brand that is hot, absolutely top of the market right now, and it's making tons of money. That also with Beyonce and others, they are driving an aspect of this resurgence. And I think that going back to the previous point, the fact that young people are finding the music they like available in this format is putting fuel on the fire of their interest. That is definitely an aspect. The spreadsheet. Yeah, and that's, I've heard people doing that too, William. 35 colors? That's cool. I didn't know that. That's smart. It's really smart. Okay, that's definitely a key aspect of it. I want to set my chair lock so I can lean back a little bit. Okay, next item that's driving the things that are trending right now. There has been a significant growth in the innovations in turntable design. So there's been two markets that have seen substantial investment by manufacturers and adoption by the public. The first being in the audiophile category. So there are developments being made with some of the higher end turntables that they have been able to track that to some of the growth in the segment. And conversely, there is a converse. I don't know if we can. Additionally, there has been an expansion of affordable turntable options. That's our bread and butter. So the ability to have more options in the entry level space, that is really our segment, right? But doing such in a way that doesn't compromise on quality. They all have to compromise on quality to a degree, right? They list as an example one of the most influential turntables as of the last few weeks has been the LP70X. Got mine right here. It offered an upgrade to the beginner, so they got a better range of cartridge or styli for the cartridge, a better cartridge, an updated design that didn't look like everything since the Iowa in the 90s, something that looked fresh and looked different, even though under the hood it functions similarly. But keeping those price points accessible. We're starting to see the formation of strategic price points. And you may have noticed that $200 is like this threshold right now. A lot of turntables in the entry level market are priced at $199, $205, $200, $199, $95. That's a very key thing. The LP70X is in that range. The LP60X is notably lower than that, 149-ish right now for the base model, which is good. For a while there, you had to pay over $200 even to get the 60. But a lot of things. The LP or the Sony Sony LS310 or whatever automatic, the Victrola automatic, the Crosley new automatic. By the way, those two are really interesting because they don't use that Iowa, actually it's a BSR mechanism, but they use a new electric automatic mechanism. If you haven't seen that, if you're interested in automatics, go look at my recent review of the latest Sony automatic and the Sony uses the old-fashioned design. Go look at my review of the recent Victrola and Crosley automatics, the C300 from Crosley and the Victrola, I don't know what they call theirs, I forget, but they use a new mechanism where it uses an extra motor to drive the tone arm position. It's very interesting. I was surprised a lot of viewers were intrigued by that versus the mechanical drive of the older style. Anyway, so there's been pushes in those market sectors. And do not think this is by accident, people. These big wigs, these stuffed shirts, these powdered wigs, whatever you want to call, they're sitting there very, very decidedly knowing what they're doing. They are making very conscious decisions. There are focus groups. There are incredible analytic data that are being analyzed, cross-referenced. There's a very competitive market between companies like Victrola and Crosley. You've got the established legacy players like Sony, Pioneer, that kind of do their own thing, but they're at least receptive to the trends in terms of observing them. They know what they're doing. It's no accident that the price of the Pioneer edges out the price of the Audio-Technica LP120X by just a little bit. There's no accident that any of these things happen. We are all on the consumer side of all of these things that's going on, and I've been able to peek behind the curtain a couple of times. Every once in a while, I'm let in on confidential information that we, of course, honor. And it's fascinating. It's so cool. By the way, there's some cool stuff coming out in CES, and I'm excited to be able to talk about it finally. Can't wait to share that with you. Okay, so we talked about those updates. Also trending right now, the adoption of modern technology, aka Bluetooth. I remember reviewing a Bluetooth out turntable that transmits Bluetooth. It was probably Bluetooth 4.0, so it's a lossy Bluetooth. years ago. I'm talking like 2018 probably. We reviewed a Bluetooth out turntable, and it was Crosley. I forget what it was. It was a T2 250. I don't know what it was. It wouldn't be T. It'd be like C. C. No, C is their high end line. Anyway, I remember the guy saying, my rep at the time, he's no longer there. He said, "We don't know why people want this, but they're asking for it in droves. They want Bluetooth turntables." And so I think, again, younger market segment, convenience always beats out quality. Always. Sean, welcome in. Sean's been a member of the Inner Circle for 20 months, Sean. Thank you for your support, my friend. Anybody can join. It's only $1 a month. You get early access to shows, you get exclusive content, and you get exclusive badges and things. And I appreciate your support, Sean. Sean is a legend. But yeah, it's craziness. It's absolute craziness. And people want what they want. And, that's why MP3s were successful. They didn't sound as good as CDs, but they were more convenient. Convenience always wins out. VHS was inferior to Betacam, or Betamax, but it was more accessible and more affordable, and it won out. It just happens time and time again. This is what we're happening now with Bluetooth. It's not really a format war, but this feature's here to stay. To calm the upset people that think it's an abomination to have Bluetooth and vinyl records in the same sentence, I would say watch this space, because Bluetooth codecs are improving to the point that they're lossless. Once they are fully lossless, and there are lossless Bluetooth aptX lossless, completely lossless. Once you hit lossless, then you're encapsulating the full analog, and you don't need to worry. You're not going to be losing. This is all subjective. I know this is my opinion based on my interpretation of the facts and the data, but I'm just telling you from what I see that once you hit lossless, you're fully encapsulating that analog signal with no degradation. And lossless doesn't employ psychoacoustics. It doesn't delete sounds that are inaudible. It doesn't do all the crazy things that of transcoding analog signal into a digital signal. That's it. And it's done very, very efficiently. And as we already know, almost all records today are coming from DSD files and whatnot. That being said, the Bluetooth codecs employed by most turntables these days are still the lossy type. Even aptX, base aptX is still lossy. It's a good lossy, but it's still lossy. So I think the next step is that, yes, if we're going to do Bluetooth on turntables, that's fine, but let's do it in a lossless way. So that's the next step. There are turntables that are built around this whole philosophy right now. Victrola, the guy that came in a couple of years ago to redo them, they really wanted to, my perspective, my interpretation is that they've really wanted to not rebrand themselves, but they've wanted to reposition themselves from being a lifestyle company like Crosley or Modern Marketing is, where they're about the trends, the colors, the trending things, and they do some good stuff. I stand behind Crosley's products most of the time. They do some fantastic things. People don't give them a fair shake. However, when the guy at Victrola came in, he's like, how do I say that? I'm not going to say that. Anyway, he made some changes there in the whole product category of wireless, and really kind of went whole hog into some of that stuff, which has kind of been interesting, right? They have this Stream Deck. I don't even know what all the different names are, but they have these Sonos capable units. They have all of these ones that are built around the wireless Sonos, which uses the Wi-Fi. So turntables broadcasting Wi-Fi losslessly, not just Bluetooth. So the whole wireless thing, whether it be over Wi-Fi or over Bluetooth, is an interesting thing to watch. It's an interesting thing. All right, I'm going to try this thing. YouTube has this thing where we can do a super chat goal. Let's try this. I don't know if it'll work. Let's try small. We're going to set it for 5 super chats. We'll do all the colors. We'll do 15 minutes. What will be, if we hit the goal, if we hit a 5 super chat goal, what will be, you know what? If we hit the goal of 5 super chats, I will get Yoshi the bird and we will do a Q&A with her. Found out she's a girl. Thought it was a male bird for like 10 years, and then she laid eggs for the first time a couple months ago. She's over here. So I'll bring the bird on the show if we hit 5 super chats in 15 minutes. Bird interview. And you know what? You guys can ask any questions you want. All right. I'm kicking it in, guys. If you super chat, we get to 5 in 15 minutes. We'll do it. Anyway, that's the next trend. Larry, thank you, my friend. Woohoo! 4 to go, guys. 4 to go. Oh, yeah, Larry. The portable, the Revolution Go sounds so good. Man, I wish it was built better, though. It's so boxy, but, man, it sounds so good. Yeah, old radios. Check that one out. That's totally recommended. Thank you so much for the super chat, Larry. I really appreciate it. Always been an incredible supporter of everything we do. Very much appreciated. I want to make sure I'm not missing any comments. If I miss a comment, I apologize. Yeah, have you found an SL12 2000 for cheap? That's a killer find if you have. Larry's sporting the official members only icons down there. I forgot about that one where I'm going like this. Oh no. Sorry to hear that already. Yes. Thank you again for the super chat. If we get 4 more of those in 15 minutes, Yoshi the bird's coming on. All right, trends as of the first week of January. So yeah, Bluetooth and other things, USB is becoming more prevalent. So get used to it. The good news is you don't have to use the Bluetooth if you don't want to. If you don't like it, don't let that dissuade you from a turntable you like otherwise. Just don't use that feature. Or companies will probably offer alternate versions. Like the LP70X has a Bluetooth option. Knowing I'm not a big Bluetooth turntable guy, I got the base model. Saved me like $50, and I don't want that feature. Therefore, I don't miss it. One turntable that I do enjoy the Bluetooth with, though, is the one I use in my living room. Because my main living room setup, I've got those majority, they're like British speakers I reviewed a while ago. I've got those set up behind my TV, kind of hidden. They're shooting down underneath it. And I use the Soundburger because I keep it in the closet. So if I want to listen to a record in there, I pull it out. It connects instantly. Bluetooth is good enough for that situation. That's just a casual listening environment for me. I don't have a fancy audio setup in there. And it works fine. Okay, other trends. So we talked about the integration of modern technology. Next, there's been an enhanced focus in the last few weeks on aesthetic appeal. So people that poo-poo the design aspect, I always say that the physical design aspect is a part of this, and it's okay to like certain colors, certain designs, certain styles, certain visual aesthetics. That's a part of it. Some people will say no matter how cool a record player looks, no matter how awesome it is, they will disregard all of that and say, well, I don't care how it looks as long as it has to, they only care about the sound quality. That is a fair point because it's a sound device. It just sound good. But you can have both. That's my point. You can have both. And that interest is trending. Minimalist designs are going up right now, trending up. Consumers are largely viewing turntables as both audio equipment and statement pieces within their living spaces. So companies that are lifestyle focused, like Crosley, higher end companies, you look at these like VPI turntables, super high-end stuff, ones with like 10-inch thick platters and stuff. Don't tell me that those aren't viewed as art as well. It's a huge aspect. It's okay to like the look of it. That's a part of, this is all physical. That's part of the thing. You think of the media cover art, you don't ever question the cover art being cool as part of the draw, in addition to the sound quality of the media. Why can't we also notice and appreciate the visual appeal of the device? People are. People love the minimalist style. I'm not typically a minimalist type of fan. I don't like being in an Apple store. I think it looks like a medical thing. I think it looks clinical, and I don't appreciate that. Some people, on the other hand, love it. They love minimalist. I like more of a cluttered appearance, as you can tell. I like more cozy than minimalist. But some people love minimalist. So like a Riga turntable, even a U-turn, has a fairly minimalist design to it. That's fine. But for those of us that don't, you got something like this, a bunch of knobs and gears, and you know what I mean? But even this went through a stylist, not a stylist, like cartridge stylist, but an actual designer, visual aesthetic person took part in this product, in every single product. Some things look like they're right off the engineer's drawing table and no artistic considerations were involved. But this is actually a very common early 80s aesthetic, everything from the color to the dimensions and everything. Larry, thank you, my friend. Does it count if it's two different people? Yes, because it's super chats, not super chatters. All right, thank you so much. We have, look, it's only counting one. It's only counting as one. The target says 1 of 5. Okay, super chats. Whoa, I can send a super chat too? That's cool. I didn't know I could do that. What? Stop. I'm opening windows that I never knew existed. Okay, back to the trending data. Get your super chat in now if you want to see the bird. Thank you, Larry. Okay, we talked about aesthetic appeal. Next, we are trending. Other trending things are the growing market for vinyl accessories. Accessories like preamps, storage solutions, comprehensive setups. And that's a good indicator that people are moving from suitcases and all-in-ones to more elaborate setups, which is exactly what I predicted would happen. $65 for the Revolution Go is a steal. That was a $200 turntable when it came out. Grab that. If you need a portable that sounds good and it's not going to be handled by a child because it's delicate, go for the Revolution Go. Not a sponsor. It's just a good turntable. So yeah, there's a trend for. So this proves the fact that trend is out there proves that what I said is predicted would happen is happening, and that people are transitioning from entry-level equipment to higher-end equipment. They get their suitcase player, the Crosley Cruiser. Oh my gosh, not a Crosley. Did he say Crosley and not, disparage it? Yes, he did, because I knew that was going to whet the appetite of the newbie, and they are going to go to the next level. And they are. That's the proof right there. Why else would accessories trend up? There's a market for it. So those are the big trends. We'll recap those in just a minute. I still think you could have a turntable without built-in speakers for €100, which sounds okay. There are. $100 is sort of the first price point hump that you notice stuff that isn't just all over the map price-wise. It's a very entry-level price point. But you can find a turntable. Especially, Lenco. There's other brands that do it and stuff out there. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I agree. Totally. Okay, news on the channel. So we obviously had a very big Christmas. Our numbers peak at Christmas every year. It's the biggest day of the year. This was a better Christmas in terms of views and watch time than we've had for a couple of years. Last year was lower than this, and it's hard to say. There was rumblings within the YouTube community. There I go again, community. That the advertisers weren't investing much last year, like compared to what they usually do. Part of the ad revenue that creators make, if they're monetized, is not up to them. They can put up content. They can try to make it good content. They can try to make it consistent and relevant content, but they don't control how much advertising, if any, is being sold. That's all happened through Google AdSense directly. They actually auction the ads. All the ads are tailored to your demographics. So Larry sees different ads than Old Radio sees, than I see. Everybody gets different ads. They know the basic demographics, and I know, high-level demographic data, what countries people are watching from, what time of the day they like to watch. But, obviously YouTube and AdSense knows more, so they know, if we're hitting a certain demographic, XYZ. But there are times when they pull back. Like right now, advertisers are going to pull back because this is now entering the dry season. There'll be a little hump during CES, and then we're going to sail into spring. That is the driest, most withered and cold season in terms of advertising revenue in YouTube world. It's also, once CES release, the turntables at CES get released, there'll be very few new things coming out until well into the year. Like July, August, because companies are going to release stuff for Christmas. They're going to release stuff for CES. They're not going to release something for April. You know what I mean? Black Friday comes around. That's when things start heating up again. So last Christmas was drier. It was still the biggest day of the year by far. This year was good. Not our highest ever in a way it was our highest ever. We're definitely, obviously, more subs than ever, more watch time than ever. A single day views, I think that we've hit higher single day views in previous years, but it fluctuates, right? It fluctuates. So overall, it's incredible. Yeah, YouTube Premium is a great thing. Creators still earn from YouTube Premium. It's very minuscule compared to the I don't think proportionately a lot of people use YouTube Premium. My son swears by it. He's like, it's the best money I ever spent. He cannot stand ads. Now I kind of schedule my bathroom breaks around ads. Like, all right, there's a non-skippable ad. I'm going to see if I can go to the bathroom real quick. Yeah, exactly, Old Radios. Hey, what do you think about the Fenton RP162? Let me look it up. I've never heard of it. Fenton? I think of Fenton Hardy of the Hardy Boys. That was the dad. What was it? RP162? Yeah, 162. Okay, that pulled up something different. I want to go to google.com. Why is it doing this? I hate how it search in the field where you're entering the URL. Good grief. All right. Are we having network issues again? All right, let's try this. Okay. Got it. This is cool. Have I seen this? I want to say, did somebody had something very similar to this. That tone arm, I'm trying to think if I've seen something similar to this. I don't know if it's this exact one. It's got a ceramic cartridge. That's the biggest red flag. I see it here. I see it as an LP and #1 brand for $129. Some other brand for $219. Here's one for, well, that's different. That's not the same thing. Something similar, $189, $129-ish. But I've never seen the Fenton branding before. It could be fine. Obviously, it looks like built-in speakers. I'm sure there's an aux output on the back. There's aux input and USB. That could be cool. I don't, the big thing is typically speaking, by the way, only a minute, 30 seconds left in the chat. Super chat contest ends in 22 seconds. You'll never meet the bird if you don't super chat right now. You'll never meet the bird. Sorry for the mid-rolls, guys. YouTube's doing their thing. You got 12 seconds. The super chat, you got 12 seconds. Don't leave Larry standing here. Don't leave Larry high and dry. Just joking with you guys, but I do appreciate it. I like the idea of doing some kind of goal during a live that you can work towards and then offer a reward. I may have to work on that a bit. So we did get 2 out of 5. Who was the second super chat? Everything's so glitchy right now. Dude, did you add a third one, Larry? They let it count as a second. I guess that's the threshold. All right. What I was going to say about the Fenton unit is that it is ceramic, which some people would instantly say that's not good. It's a bit unexpected in this price range to still be at a ceramic. That being said, I have seen systems that use ceramics that still sound good. The Gemini, modern Gemini we reviewed a couple Christmases ago, the white one, a white plastic one, that was a ceramic and it sounded good. It had bass. It was properly impedance matched. They do track higher. Ceramic cartridges require 5 or 6 grams. So the records won't last quite as long, but it may not be bad. It just depends. Dude, Larry, you're working hard to be the best supporter, man. I appreciate it. You're too kind, my friend. Too kind. Thank you so much. Yeah. Stop. Seriously, stop. You're awesome, and I appreciate it. You know what, Larry? For you, we're bringing out the bird. If she will be nice to me, so much likes to bite. Yeah. Everybody wants to see you. Come on. Let's go. The later into the evening it gets, the less social she gets. She moves back into her cage. 3 devices, my friend. Thank you so much. Let's be on IP then. That must be the trick. The later into the night, the less social she gets. So I'll probably get bit doing this, but it's worth it. You're just too kind, Larry. All of you are awesome just for being here. This one is brought to you by Larry. All right, dude. Come on. You're going to come out. Okay. All right, that wasn't too bad. She bit me a little bit. Not too bad. Here's Yoshi. She's been on the show before. Look at the camera. She's a green sheet conure. She's about, how old are you? 12, 13, 14, something like that. She's got plenty of years to go. So there's different kinds of conures. There's sun-cheek conures. There's pineapple conures. And they're kind of, they're in the parent family, but they're kind of actually closely related to a budgie. I think they're from Brazil. She was born in Colorado, we think. The funny thing is we specifically requested a male because we were working on a project and we wanted to calmer sex. And apparently the males are calmer. And it makes total sense that this isn't a male because this bird can go ham in her cage. And I wouldn't say she's calm. Excuse me. She can make a racket. She knows how to make all kinds of noises in her cage. She'll bang her beak. She'll slide it around. She likes to come out. She'll fly around the house. And she's a very active creature. Well, we thought she was a male until I think it was last October, somewhere around there. I was on obviously they were non-viable, non-fertilized eggs. And that was an interesting deal, wasn't it? But yeah, she's a good girl. She's actually really sweet. We love her. Yeah. And they can be trained to speak. Not as good as some other species. Sorry for I don't know what's up with the bandwidth lately. I really apologize. Yeah. Internet must be busy tonight. Yeah, she chirped a lot, and a lot of people think it was a smoke detector. See if I can get her to chirp on camera here. Let's make it sound. Usually she doesn't do it if I'm holding her. Everybody's now like, okay, Record-ology's lost it. Come on, make it sound for him. The one time I want you to cheat. Usually I'm like, be quiet, Yoshi. I'm trying to film. No? All right, she doesn't want to do it. Anyway, she's sweet. And, yeah. Let's see, we got open comments here. She'll say some very basic things, very, very, very rudimentary. The beep, the cheeping sound that she makes is we had a house back in Colorado that had a security system that was set to make a monotone beep whenever the front door was opened, and she memorized that sound and learned how to repeat it. So when she sees movement in the house, she is the alarm system. Saves on having to hire a subscription service. But no, she's really cool. She'll sit on my shoulder while I work. She's a good girl. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Laverne. That's pretty funny though. Say hi to Laverne's friend, Yoshi. Yeah. Yeah. Right now she's got those, we call them sticks, but they're little feather bundles wrapped in wax. They kind of grow new feather bundles around the neck, especially. And she doesn't like, and on her head, you can see a couple poking out too. You're supposed to be able to get your fingernails in there and kind of help them get the wax coating off. And she doesn't like that very much. So she likes to do it herself. We try to help her do it, but she's got a personality for sure. She really does. Yeah, you do, huh? Yeah. She's a very good girl. Born in Colorado, rode in the car all the way down here. She really liked traveling. She really, really did. We used to tease her that she was in this. We had this fancy travel carrier for her, and it was by the window in the car. Obviously, everybody's by the window in the car, and birds would be like real birds would be flying by outside, and we would tease her that the real birds were thinking she was kind of a princess, or back then a king, riding in this air-conditioned comfort cross country. Isn't that crazy, Larry? I heard somewhere that we've only identified like 9% of, or some single digit amount of species that are supposedly on the. That's wild. Isn't that wild? I think that's crazy. So anyway, we all owe Larry the appreciation for that. That was fun. Look, we have other things to do like that. I never knew that was a thing I could do. That's kind of fun. I really, really appreciate it. Also, Larry, thank you for moderating tonight. Really appreciate that as well. Been thinking about adding another 1 or 2 mods. I think we have 3 mods right now on the channel. We might add more. So those are the trends. I said I would recap. So again, to recap the trends that are happening right now. Good grief. Now it's frozen again, even on my end. Jeez, I don't know what the deal is there. Thanks for the thumbs up too, by the way. Okay, so right now, trending. What on earth is that? That is not what I was looking at. Sustained growth in vinyl sales is within that. The trend is that we are continuing up, and we're owing it to Gen Z specifically due to new artists coming out with new music on the platform. Innovation in turntable design, specifically minimalist designs, are on the rise with increased functionality. Number 3, expansion of affordable turntable options. So the entry-level market is booming, which also underscores the fact that people are transitioning from the suitcase players to, quality entry-level equipment. Integration of modern technology, aka Wi-Fi streaming and Bluetooth streaming. Number 5, enhanced focus on the aesthetics. We talked about that. Number 6, growth market for vinyl accessories. So, accessories are booming. That's definitely telling of what's going on. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate it. Apologize for the bandwidth issues, guys. Oh my gosh, 33 birds later. That's insane. You're a very patient person. How funny. That is so funny. 33 birds. Oh my goodness. Do they have separate cages now? Well, guys, I've had fun tonight. That pretty much covers what I wanted to talk about. Coming up on the channel. Geez, it's unresponsive again. I apologize for the bandwidth issue. Coming up on the channel, we've got product reviews. They're stacking up again. We got more things coming. I'm going to try a show that I hesitated doing because it's a stretch. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But it's going to be something, a product that's very specific. It is audio equipment related, and it's not at the same time. And it's going to take some work. It's not just to open it, review it type of a show. It's going to require some longer term work because I need to use it over a period of time to be able to evaluate it. So that arrived yesterday, I think. Oh gosh, new record on the way. It's a historic one. Will be a story. It's not Patsy Cline. So we'll be talking about that, sharing that with you. I want to share more videos of playing some historic records. I love my Philco 1949. I need to get a stand for it. It doesn't have a home right now. Right now, I've been carrying it around to different places and setting it up. We did a number of videos playing some Christmas records on that. People seem to enjoy that, so I want to do more vintage records on there. We've got a lot of records we haven't had a chance to showcase yet, so I definitely want to do that. We talked about some new product requests that people have made, so we're going to be investigating some of those new things as well. There are some new turntables coming out. There's a very notable brand that is releasing something at CES, and we are on the list of reviewers that are going to get one to investigate and test out. I can't say any more about that. Yeah, that isn't that cool, Larry? That's a really cool one. Also, I still have my Bing Crosby bread box, the 1201 automatic, very similar to the 49 Boomerang by Philco that I need to do some more work on. I'm converting it to a Bluetooth only thing. I know that's totally faux pas. I'm not doing a full resto on it. I did get my hands on a second one, which I gave to my friend Fardamark, who did the restorations on the 1401, which is the 1949 for me. And in exchange, I gave him a 46 that he restored to original condition. My 46, I decided to retrofit it, mostly because I'm not good enough at dealing with the stuff myself. So what I'm using, I'm going to save it for a video. I don't want to tell you exactly what I'm doing because I've got kind of a unique idea there. But I got that in the works. There's a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of products going on. We have a lot of things coming up, and I'm super excited to share it all with you. It's going to be fun. Even if the advertisers and the new products are going to be slowing down, we're not slowing down. We got a lot of things to do, a lot of places to go, and a lot of fun things to share with you guys. And that never ends. So I'm going to try and average a couple of videos a week, maybe more, hopefully not less. That's the plan. Try to do something every day. Most days I do something, whether it's a short or a post at minimal. We like to do more polls. We really want to keep that engagement going without being overly engaged. We don't want to be annoying, but we want to always have something for you, even if it's a little something. That's cool on radios. That's really cool. I've got an RCA 45 changer that I got when I got the 46 Philco, the first one, and I was going to do a resto on it. Its fate is not quite fully decided yet. Steampunk turntables. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Apologize for the bandwidth. Apologize for my sniffles and cough. But I had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. Have a great rest of the weekend. We're running it out down to the last few hours here, and make the most of it. Stay healthy. Take care of one another. Be thankful. Keep that attitude of gratitude going. Have a wonderful week. I'll pop up tomorrow with something. I don't know what it'll be yet, but that'll do it for tonight, guys. Happy record hunting. Thanks again for all the support, everybody. Thanks for the super chats. Larry, 45 adapters coming very, very soon. That was one of my weekend projects that I didn't get to. I was going to work on some retooling, and I didn't get around to that. So I need to work on that. Plus a new exclusive color coming very, very soon. That's going to do it for now, guys. Happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.